Hello, I have today Graham Mason with me, who is CEO Fund Management for Prudential Asia. Welcome, Graham.
Thank you very much.
Now, you've just been on a panel discussing how mutual funds play a role in the long-term development of the Asian industry. But Asia is a patchwork of lots of different markets at different speeds of development with different regulations. So how do you cater for that as Prudential? How do you cater for that broad range of product need?
The Prudential is really a collection of individual country businesses. So the countries within Prudential Fund Management Asia is 10 countries from Japan through to Dubai, with Vietnam, China, all the big markets, Hong Kong, Singapore within that. And we very much focus on local management with onshore funds. So it's not as if we've said here the offshore funds, which is kind of one size fits all, and we're concentrating on Hong Kong and Singapore. We across all 10 countries with local business, with locally domiciled funds. So it's very much a localization theme. We can respond to investors' needs, have funds in China that are very different than the ones in Japan. So take, say, Japan, for example, income is very important. In China, it's much more about capital growth. So we have very much local funds with just a small layer of offshore funds in Hong Kong and Singapore. So very much we've responded to the different levels of development and the different risk appetites of investors.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, just talking about the development of the Asian investor and the mutual fund, is the mutual fund the panacea for their long-term needs, or should the fund management groups be working much more closely to develop tax incentivized savings, health and retirement products, etc.? I think there's a lot more need for that. It's not just the mutual fund is the answer.
Again, I think it depends on the stage of development. So if we take kind of like Vietnam or Indonesia, where we're active and our life colleagues are very active there as well, it's very much about a sort of a one wrapped ILP of some sort with health and protection and other riders on it, which caters for the kind of one-stop, here's savings and protection in one. Then as the markets become more sophisticated, and we see it moving through sort of Malaysia, Taiwan, Hong Kong and Singapore being the two most sophisticated markets in the region, by that stage it's very much split. It's sort of mutual funds on their own, normally offshore mutual funds with risk and protection off on the side. So I think your question is very right. We need to, as a financial service industry, cater for the whole spread of needs. But the asset management industry is very much just focused on the investment content at the heart of it, which is how it should be. You know, we're not actuaries. We shouldn't be worrying about the risk and protection. Other people can do that better than we should, but it's good to bolt it together. We're the heart of the product, which is growing for the retirement needs. But I think it does bring the second part of your question was about our mutual funds, the panacea. I mean, I think that they're a very, very important part of what we need to do, but we equally need to make them an even more important part and say, you know, that people, that investors across Asia say that they're saving for their retirement, which is very much, you know, if you ask a, say, US investor why they're buying mutual funds, about more than 3/4 will answer it's to do with a retirement plan of some sort. Within Asia, the same surveys have been done in Korea, for example, and there's about 16% will say we're buying it for retirement. It's much more a shorter term vehicle in some investment. And I suppose I'm talking about stocks and mutual funds together, but I think we've got the right building blocks, being the offshore or onshore funds. But it's a question about, I think, making them more a part of the investor's basket of long-term savings, which I think is the key way forward.
And how does distribution play a role in that? Because obviously we know that banks still, dominate distribution. Are banks still interested in just selling the latest product? What's going to make them the most money? Because we know they've got an array of products that they can pick from. So how do you work with those distributors to do that?
No, I mean, clearly distributors are hugely important. Bank distribution, as I say, is key in Asia. If you're serious about distribution, you've got to be serious about banks in Asia. But I think, the banks are doing very good work, and they've got a range of products, and like us, looking for long-term, looking after the long-term needs of their customers. So.
Great, thank you very much, Graham.
My pleasure.